been fascinating listening to all of you guys. The one thing I noticed is a couple of observations. So full disclosure, I'm Anant's dad. But you know, this was an intergenerational dialogue. I thought there would be a little bit more conflict, so I would have loved to see that. But the one thing that I observed is, I think as we grow older, we change. And what we were when we were teenagers, we are not the same at 40, 50, or 70, as Priya ji said. So I guess my question to all of you is, we talked a lot about the feel good, you know, fulfill yourself piece, which I think is a human thing. I don't think it's generational at all. But all of us are also reasonably privileged, including, you know, or notwithstanding the struggles we all have. Every individual has our own, right? I'll make it a little bit more materialistic as a question. What would you each define as success materialistically, right? We still live in this real world, we still operate in this world, we still have parents, we have families, we have a house, we got stuff to do. What would you define as success if I were to say, forget about the feel good, fulfill your soul, right? For a moment, put that aside. What would that be?
You want to answer your dad's question? So fine. Now we'll get to the conflict you're looking for. Yeah. Was that meant for him anyway? That was meant for you.
I don't know. Yeah. See, we can talk about this more over chai at 9 p.m. tonight. But I think, Appa, that I don't think your question can be diverged. I think success materialistically is having enough means and the means to do what you want to do with success and happiness and spreading joy and love. If which is not going to happen because I found joy in medicine. But if tomorrow I was like, I'm going to be an art history major and I'm going to move to Florence and study statues for the rest of my life, statues that nobody will care about except the other art history major that's going to come in 20 years. Having enough money to, move to Florence, being there in euros and stuff like that, just doing whatever you can to make yourself happy. That might be the material thing. I think that we may define success materialistically, especially as a community, when we're spreading our, you can be this, and this, because earlier it was doctor, lawyer, engineer. Now you have the permission, I guess, from your parents to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, swimmer, tennis athlete, anything, but you have to be the best at what you do. I think that's one hurdle that we haven't gotten over yet. It's okay to do what you love, but materialistically, if you can follow that passion, if you have the means to do that, because once you have the means to do that fully, then you're going to get some fulfillment from that. So I think that's the point at which you reach that. Anybody else?
I do want to listen to everyone.
So this is what I tell my daughters, 3 A's. Aptitude. You have, whatever you do, you have to have some aptitude about it. It's not that I want to be an NBA player and I want to make my career as an NBA star. I can't. I mean, I love sports, right? But that doesn't mean that that's it. The second is attitude. Means you still have to love what you do. I mean, regardless, I can't do everything for the fact that I'm a very good I was a mathematician, right? And people told me go into the finance services. And I said, I hate finance services. I hated stock market. So I said, I'm not going to be successful over there. I'm not going to love it. My life is going to be miserable. And of course, the third point which comes to is affordability. You still have to live, right? You still have to live. I understand that I want my tombstone to say very good things about me, but I still have a family to feed.
Okay, so
I don't know if everyone knows this, but there's a weekend concert on Thursday, and a lot of my friends went there, and they posted on their stories on Snapchat. Exactly. So materialistically, I want to be such a big famous singer that has enough money to have a show like that. Like in the video that I saw my friend posting, like you can hear the entire audience, the whole Benz, screaming Weeknd song, like all of them. Like they all know this song by heart. And just to be in the middle of that stage and hear all these people loving and supporting you because of the art that you create, like that would be probably the best thing that I could ever experience in my entire life. Like materialistically, that's what I want, to be a millionaire that can throw a show in some arena and feel that experience.
This one's something to watch. You gotta get attention on this one. Yeah, I was going to answer your question, but that's a haunting thing, right? When is it enough, right? When I first came to like the US, right, I would tell my dad, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, Dad. Everybody buys a car, and pretty much everybody, when a student, right? Everybody has a house here. What more to ask, right? That's how you start, right? And then you get your job, you have your home, you have a couple homes, right? And then you are like, what is next, right? There's no way to define our material success, but I think the word I was looking for an answer and that I found is the fact that, are you thriving or not? You could thrive with a 50K salary, let's call that, median average or whatever. You could thrive with $1 million, but you have to be thriving in that, the financial setup. I know I have friends and family who are extremely rich, but I see them, they're not thriving. They're not thriving because they're working 24 hours. Honestly, 24 hours is how much they're working. That is not thriving, right? So I think our financials and our values, only when these two meet, you thrive. So that's where you use it. And I have another cousin, right? Very young family. They had a beautiful, nice house with a lot of space. And for them, it made a financial decision to go to a smaller house. And investment, financial knowledge, and rent this house, you're gonna make money, somebody's gonna pay off your mortgage. And I said, that's not thriving. You have a large family, you need the space, you need the beauty that this space offers. But it's a choice they made, and financial choice is one independent choice they made. But are you thriving is a question I ask myself for my child. Right? And I honestly, surprisingly, this came to me from my husband. Right? I was also like a very immigrant kind of a person, right? I came here with all my socio-activist background. I still want to be methodical investment. I'm like, we're going to buy this, we're going to sell this, we're going to do this. That was who I was. And my husband was like, what are you doing? We just bought a TV. He's like, I think we should buy a next big house, right? We pay 5 years, let's go buy a bigger house. He said, we just bought a TV. And I looked at him and I realized that he is actually contented with what he has. I have to learn it from him. He never aspired for anything. Like, I have a TV. That's what he tells me all the time. So anyway, I hope I kind of, articulated an answer for you. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
I think there is no definition of success that applies to everyone universally, is my thinking. See, for example, let's say there's this homeless person, right? So, usko ek raat ki shelter min jaye. If he gets a shelter somewhere, for him that's success. For me, I have 2 homes and I want a fancy vacation home on Lake Como. That's my success. So, my thinking is the definition of success, materialistically also, is really up to the person, and even every space and time, right? I wanted different things, and I consider them success at different points of time, right? So, in the 8th year of my marriage, if I had a baby, bang, that would have been success. But 17 years later, I had moved on. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not happy about my child, but quote unquote, it was not success, it was what it was. It was for my doctors because they presented me in all the medical seminars, but not, it was just joy for me, right, at that point. So that's what I'm saying is it changes. You can define it, but then even for your own self, at a different point in your life, that definition, I think, is transitional.
I'm thinking about how to answer this question myself. I'm a 37-year-old single woman with no children. I called off my wedding a few years ago because my relationship wasn't making me happy. And I then, when I called off my wedding, I landed my dream job as a tenure-track professor at the University of West Georgia, which nobody here has heard that name in my family, etc. So, but I get to teach things like the psychology of creativity, like art therapy, like art space research. It's literally things I would do for free upon retirement, and that's what I do for a living. And I think about money all the time because I'm supporting myself. So I find it to be, you know, I'm always hustling. So I do consulting for advertising on the side. I do art therapy sessions for stipends. You know, I'm trying to pay my mortgage. If I were to have children, I would have made different choices for my life because my humanities professor salary would not, I wouldn't be able to, you know, I would go into private practice as a clinical psychologist and make way more. And I would also experience joy in that, but right now I experience, if I had all the money in the world, I would just make art all day. I would be painting in my art studio all day. We all live in a capitalist society. We have different economic situations, and so for me, and I also teach, you know, talk about this with college students too, is like in the reality of our capitalistic world, how do you make enough money to survive and support yourself and your loved ones and make sure your days are filled with as much moments of flow state as you can summon, which is that feeling of joy. It might happen in what you're doing to make money, but it might not. And if that's the case, make sure you have hobbies. Make sure you are finding a way where you are filling your life with joy. And so that's how I would answer, trying to balance both the soul and the material realities of success, yeah.
Could you give me 1 minute?
Sure.
Again, this is a 75-year-old perspective. Get real, guys. This is United States in 2022. I've lived here since '64. No other country can print money for everyday needs like the US has and will continue to for the next 40, 50 years. Do you want a war that costs $5 trillion? Print the damn money. You want to pay for social welfare that costs $11 trillion? Print the money. Sitting here in this rich place that can print all the amount of money it needs, the definition of success for us immigrant Indians is different than it would be if you were in India or even in UK. The point of the story being, this is subject that is relative to your circumstance. What is success? Having lived here for so long, I would say, to me, success in the US is a middle-class American life. Forget about a mansion, forget about expensive vacations. And if you got extra money left over, give it to charity. Do some good with it.
I love thank you all. Yeah, the reason I asked is, you know, again, my point is there's absolutely nothing wrong in having any materialistic points of view on success till you have a purpose still defined that fulfills your soul. These are not mutually exclusive things. They can absolutely coexist. None of us individuals, all of you, panelists,
I agree with
are
that.
multifaceted people. One thing doesn't define any one of you. So like it doesn't, I mean, each one of you can do something at work, something in sports, something in art, something in, charity, something in social work. Your own passions and success can also be multifaceted. It doesn't all have to be serving humanity 100% of the time. You follow your passion as well, and these are all good things. So thank you for all your time.
Great question. I loved that one. It brought us down to earth.
Hi everyone, this is Pramod here. I just want to add a couple of points to that. I feel materialistic success is just one part of the success. There are so many other parameters to that, and if we have materialistic and if you're not paying more attention to health at all, we are sacrificing our health and just earning money. It doesn't make sense. So, we need money and other materialistic things to live in this capitalistic life, but other things also matters. I think it's one part of the success. It's not the success itself. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll end on that note that we can't just pin it down to one thing. We are multifaceted people, and there are so many different ways we can seek success. And thank you so much for everybody being a part of this. I see the next panel, so I'm kicking us off.